Hi guys, so let's talk about War and Peace. I've been a complete fail so far and I am incredibly behind on my reading. There's just been a lot of life stuff, work stuff happening, and so I have not been reading. I've been really bad at staying on top of Twitter in the general sense, let alone paying attention to the hashtag. I'm really glad I'm doing this with Jenny from Adultish Books because she is 100% on top of things, and so she has completely been picking up the slack in terms of this co-hosting read-along thing. So over the weekend, Jenny put up on Twitter just checking in with people and seeing how everyone's doing with the read-along, and she noticed that basically everyone is behind in reading. So she threw up the question asking about whether or not we should slow down the read-along and just make it over more like 2 months rather than 1 month, and it seemed like basically everyone agreed with that opinion. And seeing as how I'm behind in my reading, I would absolutely be okay with slowing down the read-along. Jenny and I thought originally that while yes, this would be a difficult book, we assumed it would be like other classics where once you get into it, it'll be much easier to read and things like that. And while that is slightly true, like I feel like I'm starting to get more used to this style the more that I read it, it still isn't an easy book. Jenny's been talking to a couple people that she knows who's read the book, and all of them have said that it's taken them more than a month to read it and that it's really difficult to get through, or not like really difficult, but it is a hard book. Like, we shouldn't underestimate the amount of like brain power and concentration that's required of this book. Things that I've noticed so far is that I can't even like listen to music when I'm reading this book because I need 100% of my brain to be focused on this story. Part of that is because of all of the different characters and just all of the different plot lines that are happening require complete concentration, but also just the writing style itself. While it is readable, it isn't necessarily like the easiest read in the world. And I also find myself having a bit of like brain fatigue when I'm reading this book. Like, I can read it and I can usually read around 20 pages at a time, and then I sort of have to take a break because I need to either process what's happening, or I can just feel myself getting a little bit worn out and my mind is sort of wandering, or my eyes just start like scanning the page and I'm not paying close attention to what's happening, which doesn't work with these novels because you need to pay attention. So what we're going to do is we are going to slow down. We created sort of like an updated page count type of thing, so if you're reading this version of the book, you can follow along with those page numbers. I have a link to a Google Doc that's an Excel sheet with like the number of pages approximately to read. The amount of pages that we put for the first week was the amount for book 1, but if you haven't finished all of that, don't feel bad or don't feel like you should be at the finish of book 1. But we did put an approximate number of pages you should be at for the rest of August and September. We have the final date, I believe, is September 21st. So from here on out, the amount of pages that everyone would have to read every night is about 20 pages. So if you do have some catching up to do, just, you know, read a little bit more than that each night and you should be fine. I know that for me personally, I'm going to be working to be more on top of these things because I am so behind. In terms of the videos that we're going to make, basically we're going to give people time to get through book 1 before putting up the first video, because we know it's kind of useless to have discussion videos if no one's finished with the section yet. So next week will be the discussion on book 1, and then the week after that will be the discussion on book 2, and then after that we are going to take 2 weeks. So we'll talk about book 1 on the 18th, we'll talk about book 2 on the 25th, and then we'll talk about book 3 on September 8th, and then the final video will go up around on the 22nd. So if you are behind, I know a couple of people got their books late or after we had already started, so people are behind because of that, or people are just behind because this book is hard to read. You now have more time to read because we don't want to stress people out. We want people to enjoy the book, and we want to enjoy the books ourselves. We think that this is a story that we would like. Like, I'm enjoying it so far, it's just that it's not easy. So I feel like giving everyone more time would make it a point that we don't end up getting completely worn out by this book, or we end up hating this book or anything like that, because that is not the point of reading this. I mean, we want to read this book and we also would like to enjoy this book if it's possible, and we do think that it is possible. So yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment down below asking those questions, because there was just a lot of information thrown out there. Hopefully this will help everyone out in terms of reading it. Jenny is actually done with book 1, so you can go talk to her if you are caught up up and you have some things you want to discuss. I've really been enjoying this so far, and I enjoy seeing everyone's comments on Twitter especially. It's been really fun just seeing everyone interacting with each other and interacting with us, and it's just really cool to be a part of something like this. So thanks so much to everyone who's been participating so far, and thanks so much for the feedback as well. So yeah, that's all I have for now, and thanks for watching.